Hey, how's it going, everybody? We're here in Miramar. We're going to be doing some work on an automation system where we're going to be converting this Hayward Aqua Plus over to an Omni. We got the retrofit kit. We're going to be showing you guys how we get this done here to make converting this system over where the customer can use this system with their mobile device. Because currently right now the customer has no control over the unit and their controller has died, and we're going to be converting this over so that they can now fully function the swimming pool once again. All right, so this is the retrofit kit from Hayward. Simply upgrade for existing Hayward automation systems, and this is the OmniPL retrofit kit. And I'm assuming this is all the parts that are going to be coming inside of the unit. Let's go ahead and open it up and let's see what's inside. All right, so this is the box open, and I'm assuming that everything on the boards and stuff is inside of this box here. And then we got a new panel to show people that we have upgraded or that they're now dealing with the OmniPL. Okay, so here we have our new main board right here, and then this is the new Wi-Fi controller that this is what is sending out the signal to the mobile device right here, plus some other adapters and connectors. And then again, our panel. Right below that, we have our installation manual. And this quick guide. Okay. And then the operation manual right here. All right, let's get this started. Okay, so first thing we need to do is we went ahead and we recorded all of the values that we already had before on this particular system that we are dealing with. We don't have too much. The system is really not that complicated on our particular application, but inside of the retrofit kit, there is a system worksheet checklist, and you run through all the configurations that was already pre-saved inside of your original display board, and you just go through every single one and you start marking them all down, so that when you go ahead and, because all these values you're going to have to put back in here so the system runs the same as it once ran before. So once you go ahead and you run through all of your system worksheets, and you save all those values and record all these values into your worksheet, now we'll go ahead and we're ready to disassemble everything. First step is we're going to be going ahead and removing this, the main control board. And this just pulls right out. Okay, and we're going to be disconnecting it from our pad. Obviously, first make sure that all of your circuit breakers are off, which we've already done. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put places and put this to the side. Okay. Next thing you want to take notice of is all of the wiring that we have connected to here, because we're going to be needing to put this back with the new board that we have right here. So this is a new board. It's going to fit into the same place. You can see the difference between the Omni and the regular Pro Logic board. Okay, so take notice of where all your wiring is at, and to go ahead and put everything back the way that it once was before. So that's going to be that right there. All right, so up here on the right hand side of the board, where we have all the rectifier connectors connected to here, the red, the black, and the orange, those are going to be omitted and got to be pulled off. Both of the rectifiers, because these are no longer used. Okay, so these wires are no longer used anymore. Okay, so what we're left is our two yellow ones, where we have our connector here, and we have this waggle connector is what they're calling it. I'm gonna snip off this. I'm just gonna keep it high and low and high and low. Twist this. One goes inside of here. And then I'm gonna take, you can see how this gets connected to the board. To the board on the low side right here. So our connector is gonna go in like this. Actually like this. I'm going to use the high side for this side. Yeah, I gotta tail back some more wiring. Gotta do some more peel back on this one. So I'm a little bit too long, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna snip off some of it. I don't want any of the wire to be exposed. Never worked with these connectors before, but from what I understand, I want to snip it just a little bit more. You feed your connector in, and then you pull up on the tab. That's what locks it down in place there. That didn't work. Okay, so I figured it out. I was doing it wrong. Again, I've never worked with these connectors before. I thought I was putting it in and lifting it up. It's actually lifting up on this sliding your wiring inside and then crimping it down. That makes more sense. So that's your connector. Now we're going to basically do the same thing for our power coming in. Here's our other connector here. You're just going to repeat this process. Expose your wiring, expose your wiring. Obviously this one white with white, black with black. Lift up on the connector. Slide in your wiring. Back some more to get to expose the more of the wire. It's finding the right amount needed to get inside that connector for a tight connection. Alright, now we got our main power to the board coming in, connected, and we got our transformer connected. Now we have the other leads from the other side of the transformer, are blue, purple, gray, and white ones. It came with this type of plug, and these connectors were just plugged right in. Pretty sure Hayward could have done the same thing with these type of connectors, but nevertheless they decided to go with this. They must know something, better connection or whatnot here, but you want to make sure you got a tight fit, okay, and one lead going to each leg, and same thing here, white with white, black with black. Make sure you have a tight solid connection and those crimpers are crimped down. So just line up your colors here, and we got this whole side off. They do also say for the final orange, and where I'm getting all this information is right out of the book. I'm a reader, I read, and obviously you look at the unit that you've been working with, and then that you just go ahead and you figure that out. So this orange one is number 11, and this one also is going to be removed. From the board, and also removed from the rectifier, as it no longer is used as well. Okay, so we got this whole side of the board completely disassembled. Now This is where all your filter pump relays get tied into. You're going to go ahead and simply remove this off of the board here, and that's going to go back. This, take notice of where it's at. We only have 4 functions here on this pool, so this is for the 4 functions here on the top. Remove that from there. Now we go over here on the right hand side. We have the old antenna for the aquapod. We're going to go ahead and remove that, and this is basically a dead line. I'm not going to remove this off of the board, off of the panel, because that would just have an access port. But I also have this. I may take it off and just put this here on the side. We'll see about that in the later part of the video. But this also gets removed here. So we have this one in valve 3. We're going to use that valve 3. We got this one here on the return side. We're going to put that on the return side. As such. Okay. And we have heater relay 2. I'm going to remove this. Put this one in here. These are basically plug and plays that we had previously. Okay. Remove this block. Okay. And then now we can stay because there was nothing there. And this one can stay because we got nothing there. So get everything basically disconnected here. I'll go ahead and we don't have enough space for that. I'm going to go ahead and tuck this into here at this moment. We'll find a nice spot to keep that there. Now go ahead and I'm safe enough to remove my main board. 2 bolts on the bottom. Go ahead and lift up. Everything else lifts up and out. Push that out. There you go. Old board out. Now we can slide in the new board here in the same spot. We have the tabs here. So you can go ahead and pick it up. Move all the wiring out of the way. Slide it right into place. Plug this back in here. Okay. And then we're going to continue with the plugging. All right. Back here, got the whole left side reconnected. Here is our XFMR, where our main plug is. It's a 2 plug, and the only difference here, if you read on the bottom of the board, this plug right here is the AC in. That is our 120 volt power supply right here. So that gets plugged in right there. And then we have our secondary plug right here, right there, boom. So now these wires can be tucked away nicely off in this area here. May get some zip ties and zip tie it really nicely, but for now, display purposes and for the video, just gonna tuck it away in here. But I will come back and zip tie it nicely where it's all looks better. So that's that. Now the next part is we're going to be mounting our new control board. Here, I'm probably going to mount it over here off to the side of the unit. And then this cabling, I'm going to route it through and up where it's going to connect to our controller right here. So that's it for that. Very simple and easy process so far, if I may say so myself. I may elect to remove this out of here. Very simple. Remove that. Take my little plug. And that covers that very nicely there. So no bugs or anything gets on the inside. Plugs off that and keeps the integrity of the automation system here. These were wires for the pH controller in case that they wanted to add a pH controller off of the rectifier here. So we're gonna go ahead and gonna remove that out of there or tuck that into place, and so it doesn't touch anything in case that the customer in the future wants to put a pH controller. They're able to do that by this part right here. So last part right now before I install the control board. We have our flow sensor, which is going to go right here, connected, and then that gets tucked away. This is just for demonstration purposes. This is what's going to now cover it. Okay, so that's how the panel looks. Now I'm ready to start to mount my controller, and with this specific application, I'm taking notice that they have screws here or bolts here for the hurricane shutters. I don't know how low their shutters come, so I don't want to pass the height of this. I don't think that in a hurricane them having to open this up is going to have any effect on it, just as long as my body is lower than or at the same level of this. Pretty sure if they had to come out here and use it, the cover wouldn't be a problem for them. I may just come a couple inches lower, but generally this is what I'm looking at that I want to install my unit. So somewhere around in this level here. So that's my preliminary mark. Now inside of the installation manual there is a control pad mounting template. So I'm going to just simply crease it right along that line and match that line that I made there, more or less the same dimensions as the pad, just so that I can get my point of for the drilling aspect of it. And again, this is going to come and be somewhere around here. Okay, so that looks good to me. Kind of forgot my level at the house, so kind of trying to eyeball this one, but for the most part, I think we're pretty good there. So go ahead and go through the paper a little bit to mark my points, and there they go right there. And I've already assured that the my bolts that I'm going to be using, which are my tap cons that I'm going to be using, are going to fit inside the back holes here. Okay. all tacked up, installed nicely, still tight here, everything tucked away very nicely. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna turn on the system here. All right, what I found out was on that old type of connector, you know, I was skeptical about these, specifically being that this is on the high voltage one and so close. I try to make the wiring as close as possible, but as you saw there, it changes. So I changed the connectors. We got straight with these straight connector butts connected on there. Reset the circuit breaker. Let's try this again. All right, there we go. Now I got power to the unit. That was a little bit of a scare there. Anyway, I left this other connector. That one seems to be fine up until now. I'm looking at the way it's connected, but you know, again, being that this is the line side coming in 120 volts, you know, I'd rather not play around with that. Have that tucked away on the side, so I feel more comfortable with these, specifically with this one. And being that this is the transformer, the secondary being stepped down to probably about like 24 volts or so, I think is what manages through this board here. But nevertheless, I routed the flow sensor right through here so that it's not to come in contact with when I go to place the manual, the front cover back on there again, because I noticed that it was covering this area here and getting all caught up, so just tucked it away really nicely there. Waiting for this to all fire up, and then we'll be right back. I gotta tuck everything away again and close up the panel. Alright, so we're going to go into one of the configurations here. Let's welcome the Hayward pool controller. Okay, first thing we're going to go into is config wizard. Would you like to set up a network connection now? Yes, we will. We're going to go into the wireless. It's already selected on wireless. Scroll over. We're going to set up a Wi-Fi network. Scanning for the Wi-Fi list. It's going to pick up all of the available networks in this area. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to scroll through this list. And you're going to select the one that is for yours. So there's our customers here. All right. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to place the customer's information in here, and we'll be right back. All right, so once you get out of that mode, installing or saving your Wi-Fi settings, it's going to come to here, enable color screen changes for alerts. We'll go ahead and we'll say yes. This is the date and time. It's already enabled because we allowed it to get automatic updates from the internet, and we allowed daylight savings time. We're going to save there. Select the units of measure. We're standard because we're in here in the US. So we're going to go ahead and leave that. Desired units of measurement for the staying speed and percentage, or speed and RPMs. We're going to go ahead and we're going to leave it in percentages. That's the MSIP. This unit. All right, how many bodies of water we had? I believe we had a pool and spa. The only reason why is because we're going to leave it in pool and spa. We're going to leave that like that. go back. I'll just leave it like pool. We'll change that in a little bit. I have to make that correction later. We'll make that correction later. Why you're not changing down? We'll go here. We'll delete one of them, I guess. One body one, okay. To proceed, okay. Next, we're gonna leave it as the pool. All right, name the pool. We're gonna leave it as pool. How many gallons is it? We're gonna put, we roughly have about like 13,000 gallons here in this pool here. If you don't know yours, you can do your calculations or leave it like 0. Scroll over, name the filter pump. We have a filter pump. Here is where you have to select what type of pump you have. If you have a single speed pump, if you have a 2-speed pump, or if you have a VSP, stands for a variable speed pump. We here have a 2-speed pump. Okay. Speed is on the relay. I believe that we are on number 3 is on the relay. And then our high speed is on number 1. Okay. Nope, we don't have any. Nope, no monitoring enabled. Would you like to enable the pump for priming? Yes. Priming durations, that's the standard, is about 3 minutes of priming speed time. Freeze protection, depending on the area that you're at, but we'll go ahead and we'll select yes. The standard is 38. We'll leave ours at 100% because that's where all of our calibrations were that we took down in the book previously. How many heaters do we have? We do have 1 heater. Do we want to allow people cool down? It's up to you, preference. We're going to go ahead and select no at this time. We're going to select no for extended time as well. We're going to go ahead and we're going to slide to have a maximum right around 95 for the pool. Select a heater and press to the right. So we'll go ahead and place to the right. We have a heat pump. We have a gas or solar, but we have a heat pump. We'll leave it named as heat pump. Which relay is it wired into? It's wired into, I believe, and this is where you got to go into your board and see where the heater is wired into. Ours is wired into LVR1. See right there, LVR1, which is right behind here. So that's where you're gonna go ahead and select that, LVR1. Okay, and you'll notice that you can't select HVR1 and HVR3 because those are have already like a pre-highlighted. That's from the selections that you've done from before. Alright, so we select that. Which relay is this wired to? And that's the one that we selected. I'm just going to save that. Does the heat pump have a valve? No, we do not have a valve. Does the heat pump support cooling? If yours does, you select yes. If not, then select no. Ours is not. Minimum allowed air temperature for heater, we'll say 50 degrees. Heater allowed low speed enabled. Yes, we're going to go ahead and select yes. And we do want ours. And then once everything is done here, we've configured everything. Do we have any chillers? No, we don't have any. Select yes. Do you have any sense dispenser modules? Like if you have a chlorine dispensers or pH dispensers, you can select yes, but here we do not. Do you have a saltwater chlorine generator? We do, but at this moment it's not working. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to select no. How many cleaners do you have? We have none. How many water features do you have? We'll go ahead and we'll change this later. We're going to select none for now. Do you want to configure any lights? We'll go ahead and configure some lights, yes. What kind of lights do we have? Water bowl, PLED, ZLED, incandescent. See, I believe we have incandescent lights at this pool currently right now. So if you have other kind of color lights, then you go ahead and you enable that there. Name of the group of lights is going to call lights. Select the relay, and I believe that's on number 2. Our relay there. Save that. Go ahead and save. How many pool accessories you have? We have none. I'm gonna go ahead and press that. Do you have an air temperature sensor? Yes, we do. Where is it wired to? Very simple. Select where it says air temperature. Next. Next. We have a water temperature sensor. Yes, we do. Where's it wired to? Pool temp. Yes. And again, all these are found right here. Your air sensors where it's marked air, and water is where it's marked for the water. And if you have a solar, all those sensors are right here. Next. Do you have a flow switch? Yes, we do. Where is it wired to? We have here on this one, we have two flow switch here and flow switch 2. So we have flow switch 1. So we come over here and we select flow switch 1. Next. Next. So we've done all this. So then you press the plus sign. Do we want to configure any backyard lights? No. Next. Any accessory in the yard? Backyard? Nope. No interlocking? Nope. So that's where everything is set up at. Go ahead and save it. Save and start. So this is going to go through that, saving all of those modes there. And it's going to restart the whole system. All right, so after the configurations and everything with that, had to go in and do a couple more changes. What ended up happening was we had another issue with those little Wagyu connectors that is sent with the close proximity of where these wires go into. These two yellow wires right here are the power coming in from the transformer. And it ended up, you know, like I said, we had to tuck everything up in here, and the wires must have touched there when we went to turn it back on, and we ended up getting a blown fuse right there. So that blown fuse is coming, it's only sending, let's say, half of the power from the transformer. Everything else seems to be working at this moment. I called tech support about it. We got to get those new fuses back in there. They're just 4 amp glass fuses there. So I went ahead and I changed my connectors. I swapped them out for the straight line ones and took that connector off of there. You know, I don't want to be dealing with those kind of issues ever again. So now the last thing that we gotta go in here and do is actually go into the programming and the scheduling of this unit here. And since I do have a 2-speed pump, got to come into the scheduling and change a little bit of how I did it. See, I initially wasn't they wanted in a staggered form, and the way that I set it up was, you know, 8:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. and then have the high speed running in conjunction with that. And they say they actually want it to be staggered. So like, let's say if I want my high speed to run between this time, I need to make an additional low speed setting schedule after the 5 p.m. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that schedule there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add, right, here, this part, 12 o'clock. You're going to hit this. You're going to clear. I'm going to put 8 there. Touch on this, the minute side, put 30 here. Okay, so 8:30 a.m. The end time, and they say to give it about a 5-minute buffer. I'm going to give it a 1-minute buffer. I think 1 minute is more than enough time. 11. Clear it all. 11:59 a.m. Okay, repeat all days. Speed, low speed, set. Okay, so there I got my low speed setting there, and now from the beginning to there, and now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add another one. Start time, select my PM. Okay, clear that, and I'm going to set it for 5:01 p.m. and I'm going to end that. Select my PM, clear that. 8. I'll leave it at 8 p.m. Repeat all week. Speed, low speed, bam, processing. All right, so I got my high speed. It's gonna come on at 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. high speed all week. Then I got my low speed from 8:30 a.m. to 11:59 a.m. all week, and I got another low speed setting from 5:01 p.m. to 8 p.m. There. So that's gonna do it there. So that sets that up. Now come back in and let's check our schedule for our filter pump, and it's all there. Okay, so that's that, and that's how you schedule. And you can do the same thing with your lights. You can go in and you can schedule a light. You can schedule any other features that you want to get, have a schedule for, depending on the amount of equipment that you have. But that'll do it. That'll wrap it up for the Hayward Omni Logic conversion to Omni Plus. And the retrofit kit has been installed. Got everything nicely buttoned up. Gonna go ahead and put my screws back. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, post them down below. I'll do my best to answer them as best as I possibly can. This was a new installation for me, doing the conversion over. Now it's off to the next pull, the next repair, and the next visit between me and you. Thank you so much.